What is going on, guys? Johnny Godfrey here from Masterclass, and today I just want to give you guys a little bit of a trade insight into my XRP US dollar long, which I took back on the 17th of July 2019. The majority of this analysis is based around the weekly and the daily chart, and as you guys will be able to see, we have this massively strong support zone between 28,500 and 29,500 that since we've broken this level back in December 2017 when we had the crypto bull market, you'll see we hadn't retested it until later into 2018. So August 2018, we pulled all the way back to this level which was previously giving us rejections as resistance, and now we're trying to test it as support. We can see for about a year's time, for over a year, we've been rejecting this level as support. We've been holding it, we've been failing, the bears have been failing to bring price underneath and solidly close. So it's looking like a very, very key level of support, which is what all of this analysis was based on, why I took this trade. And we'll have a look at the intradays in a bit to see my exact execution. But the overall analysis comes from, and my bias comes from, the weekly and the daily chart. So you can see price was bouncing off this level of 29 cents as a very strong level of support. We've started to form this triangle pattern, and price got squeezed between this dynamic resistance up top and this level of support at 29. And finally we had a strong break to the upside, huge bullish engulfing, tapping us at 50 cents before price just started decelerating. And then now we've had a full pullback to this level of 29 cents. It's obviously a very different picture to Bitcoin, which we saw a lot of bullish price action on. Whereas Ripple, XRP, and a lot of the other altcoins didn't really materialize like the Bitcoin bull run did. So what we're seeing now is price spike all the way back to this 29 level, 28,500. If we have a look at the daily, it's a little bit more obvious. And we can see exactly where I got in on the 17th of July 2019. So you guys know, if you're a part of Masterclass, I like to keep my charts clean in the FX space, but actually in the crypto space I like to have all of my levels in because it moves so much faster. I want to see exactly where I'm thinking of pushing price to next, where I expect price to stall, reject, act as resistance, support. I want all of that in there, and because price moves so quickly, I don't want to be drawing that in every other day, every week, etc. Which is why my crypto charts look a lot messier than my FX ones do, because I want to keep those levels in there, my important levels. So as we can see on here as well, here's where we were rejecting this level of 28.5 to 29.5 as resistance. Bull market smashed above it, hit those all-time highs around $3 before we had this huge pullback to test this key area as now support to see if price wanted to bounce off of this. Bears have failed to break it back underneath, so we can see how strong of a level this is in terms of support. So this is where we had the breakout on the weekly chart, hit that 50 cents level before getting a steep pullback down. And then we're back into that level at 28.5 and 29.5, which is such a key level of support, as I keep banging on about. And this is why I was looking to take this trade, looking to jump in on longs. And because of how this weekly is forming, it's Sunday right now at 10 a.m. Because of how this weekly is forming, giving us this beautiful low test that's forming, rejecting not only this level of support at 29 cents, but also the back end of this previous pattern, this triangle pattern. Because of that, I'm looking to stretch this at least back up, and it depends how it develops. I'm going to obviously manage accordingly, moving my stops, locking in profit as we go, but I'm looking to push this back up to at least that 0.475 level where we've got the recent daily body closure. But if we get a lot of momentum to the upside, I will be looking to play this higher, as I do believe after we've broken out of this pattern, we've come back down, we've now retested it, we're rejecting it, we're forming a low test. I do believe it wouldn't be out of the question to push strongly above it and give us the next leg up. If we have a look at our intraday charts, and we can see exactly how I got into the trade execution of it. So Again, apologies for the messy charts. I like to keep my levels on the intradays as well, just so I can really focus on where I think price is going to head next. So if we have a look at the 4-hour chart, again, the daily level, the weekly level, we can see how key it is as a level of support and price breakdown. And we started forming some bullish MACD divergence, which is telling this is overextended. We're going to see some bullish pressure occur at this point, and that's backed up by the fact we started forming this triangle pattern on the intradays as well, showing us that deceleration, showing us that the bears are struggling to push price any lower and the bulls are starting to come in. And what we ended up seeing was a huge spike into this level, this massive wick that spiked us down into that level of 28.5 exactly, pretty much. So we hit 28.4, pretty much exactly to that 28.5 level, the bottom of the zone, which was looking great. And then we had this huge bullish momentum. I wasn't watching the charts at this point, which is why I wasn't jumping at that stage. But what we ended up seeing was more deceleration, which is more key on the 1 hour, which we're going to look into. We saw a drop back to that 29 level, and then we started to decelerate further. When we have a look at the 1 hour chart now, we can see price started, after we had that initial large bullish momentum, that bullish engulfing form, we then pulled all the way back down pretty quickly and then started to decelerate. So I trade the crypto market a little bit different to the FX market. In the FX market, I feel like candlestick formations are much more important, etc. Whereas on this one, I was just looking for this level, for this zone at 29.5 to hold up before I believe the bullish momentum's coming in. It's exactly what we saw. So we saw the rejection, but then price popped back down, and now we're holding these lows of this triangle pattern, this support level on the weekly, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, super key level of support. Now we're holding that for 5-6 hours. Now I'm interested in taking this long, which is when I placed my entry with stops. I didn't want to be covering all the way back down to these lows because that would seriously reduce my risk reward. And if the bullish momentum was coming in from here, then it's going to just continue up. Whereas if the bears were going to push us down further, it's likely that we'll spike beneath this wick candle and I can look for another entry. So what I did was entered at this stage when we formed this little low test on the 1 hour chart, and indeed the bullish momentum came in, rejected the top of that triangle pattern again, pulled back a little bit, and then we got the bullish breakout, which is what I was looking for, which I really like. A break above the 1 hour 50 EMA. And at this point, when we're coming back for this retest, I was looking to potentially add more to my position. However, we formed this horrible high test on the 4 hour chart, which is why I decided I didn't actually want to add more to this position at that stage when we got that break and retest, which is what I would usually be doing. Just because of how the 4 hour was looking, I wasn't in love with it. So now we've had this breakout. We're continuing up. We've moved from 29.5 to 33, which is where we're sat at now today. What I really like, and how I'm looking at managing this trade, what I really like is the fact that we've broken above this 4 hour 50. You can see the 4 hour 50 is pretty well respected in XRP US dollar. So when we break above it, we're usually going to pop back down, retest it, and then we're going to hold it for a while before getting the break to the other side, the pullback, retest, and then we'll stay beneath it. So it's pretty well respected. So I'm really liking the fact that we've broken above it, as it indicates to me there is a lot more bullish momentum to come. So I'm loving that on the 4 hour. On the 1 hour, we can see so this is where my stop loss is at the moment, covering these lows here, the previous lows. As I feel it gives it enough space, I'm locking in a bit of profit. If we do get some sort of huge momentum to the downside, I will at least bank some profit, which is very key. Rather than just letting it rip or giving it the potential to wipe me out for a loss when I've got this much profit running. So at the moment we are running over 4% profit. I believe we're around 15,000 XRP in profit right now. It was up at 22,000 last night when I went to bed. But yeah, I'm looking for a lot more upside on this, which is why I want to give it the space to breathe and let price continue to ride. What I am paying attention to right now is this potential 1 hour head and shoulders pattern that's forming. So we've got a little left shoulder here, right shoulder, and we could potentially be making a left shoulder head and potentially making a right shoulder over here, which I don't like. But it's pretty easy to manage, because what I'm looking for, if that right shoulder does develop, we do get a break to the downside. we're going to close underneath that 4-hour 50 EMA. And at that point, I'll manually close out my profit. We'll bank, I don't know, 12,000 XRP. And happy days, we can be looking for another entry in order to play this up long. But yeah, if we close beneath this 4-hour 50, if we do get a head and shoulders pattern on the 1 hour, I will be looking to take my profit. But at the moment, we seem to be, and this is a key important factor as well, I'm watching for the breakdown of this. So if the 4-hour 50 is broken, we're going to break down this dynamic support that price keeps bouncing off of. We're going to have broken down that 4-hour 50 EMA, which we've just popped above and seem to be rejecting now. And we'll also have broken down on the 1 hour and we'll have a head and shoulders, which is why I would take my profit, because there's a lot of confluence for bearish momentum to come in at that stage. And yeah, then I'll be looking for my next long. But overall, that's my position on XRP US dollar. It could be a huge one. I mean, if price pops all the way back up to these highs, we could be looking at 100,000 XRP move, and at 0.50 cents, that could be a 50k profit trade. If price explodes up with extreme momentum like we saw here, I'd be happy to let this ride. And my overall target, and very ambitious, but you have to be thinking about these things when you're taking the trade. Before you take the trade, it's very important to know how you're going to manage it. Otherwise, you can let emotions come in. And if we did see huge momentum, I'd be looking to be pushing this, and we did spike massively above these highs. I'd be looking to push this up to that $2 region where we've got that monthly daily body closure on that monthly chart. That's where I'd be looking for price to move, but I'd be managing it accordingly, going off the daily chart, going off the momentum that we're seeing, going off how we're seeing price action form. But that's just a very long-term ambitious target that we probably won't see happen. If that did happen, it would be an absolutely huge move, definitely well within the six figures. So at the moment, we're just letting this play out, giving it room to breathe, allowing the bulls to push this where they want to push it. And it looks like we're rejecting this 1 hour 50, the 4 hour 50. So we should see the next leg up, maybe to this 35 cent level, before we see price starting to stall again, maybe give us a further pullback and continuation. But yeah, that kind of wraps up my overall thesis behind this XRP US dollar trade. Let's hope we can bank some serious profit on this. It's the benefit of trading long cryptos on margin trades, is the higher it goes when you're long, the more valuable the coin becomes, and you're getting that double effect of you're making profit, but also at the same time it's becoming more valuable, so you win twice, which is why I really enjoy day trading cryptos. Alright guys, if you've got any questions, let me know, shoot me a DM, but if not, I will catch you guys all very soon. Peace out.